Hiya Luke, another good session on the range. I know it's getting frustrating in regards to getting some length and loading that shaft. But you're along the right lines, you're just going to keep working it in, keep persevering like you did with the length of the swing, and eventually you're going to get it. You can see there now at P4, much improved. Stance can get a little bit wide, so you want to try and narrow that up. The big issue we have is that we push up off the ground too soon. We don't go into the ground first. As we start to push up, the arms start to get thrown away from us. The wrists start to unhinge very quickly, and then by the time we get to the ball, the power package is gone. And what we talked about was what all these powerful players, Dustin Johnson, Jack Nicklaus in his prime, certainly in his early career, well, all the way through his career, but certainly when he was younger, as we said, Sam Snead, Dustin Johnson of the bunch now, if you will, big squat down with the legs as they start to move forward. So pushing into the ground first, before then pushing up out of the ground. So that movement into the ground is storing more power, and then thrusting up out of the ground is going to deliver that power to the back of the golf ball. So that first move where we move down into the ground is the key. Now, interestingly enough, what we've done here is we've asked you to swing to P4 and then jump as high as you can. So you're going to go P4 and then jump. And the first thing you do in order to jump is squat down and push up. Now, at that point, we haven't discussed this squatting move. This is something that I've just asked you to do early doors. It's a natural instinct for you to want to push into the ground so that you can then push up out of the ground to create more power. So that was the first thing that we talked about and looked at why we do that. The feeling that you went away with was this squatting down. You've really got to get that in, and you can see as you squat down, the arms stay where they are and the wrist hinge is maintained, pushing into the ground. And that's really the feel we've got to get at the moment, and that's really exaggerating. I'm telling you, when I worked on this, I used to put a dining chair behind me and actually sit into the chair to get that feeling of squatting, as we see here with Dustin Johnson. Once we've squatted down, what we tend to get is a little bit more planted with a right foot at P6. You can see towards the end of your session, we're not pushing up off the ground quite as early. The right foot here is a little bit more planted. We've got a touch more flex in the right knee. Still not enough, but a touch more flex. If we run you down a little bit further, again, we've got a little bit more hinge in the wrist, still a little bit more planted in the ground, but we've got to continue to work on this over the coming weeks. We've got to get pushing into the ground before we can then push up out of the ground and create some power. And if we just run that down to where your left arm hits your right hip, and we start to see already that there's just a touch more load in that shaft. Not a lot, but a touch more at that point. So you're already starting to see a slight difference in the way that shaft loads. So the feeling, as we see here, is from the top, push into the ground rather than pushing up too soon. Good luck with it. If you have any questions, feel free to fire me an email. Between now and I see you next, keep pushing into the ground with that lower body. Good luck.